Hello everyone, it is 9:21 on Monday, September 18th, and I'm doing a live chat tonight because we've had some pretty significant developments on Hurricane Maria, and I do want to talk about it. I've been getting a lot of questions on my Facebook page and on Twitter about this storm, and I also do want to touch on the latest on Jose, which is going to impact the Jersey Shore and the Delaware beaches, but I want to stress that this is not going to be a very significant storm for most of our viewing area, and we've had nor'easters that are going to cause more problems, but I do think that beach erosion is a big problem. So let's talk about Maria first of all, because I want to show you the latest on the storm. And the island of Dominica right now is just getting swallowed up. I mean, yeah, I'm scared for Puerto Rico too, Joyce, because this is bad. If you look at this and you see this eye clearly defined, you see it looks almost like a buzzsaw. I mean, it looks a lot like Irma. Maximum sustained winds as of 8 o'clock, 180 miles per hour. And I think this is going to be a lot worse for Puerto Rico than Irma was. If you remember Irma, Irma did not actually make a direct hit on Puerto Rico. It actually skirted a little bit to the north, but the wind field was so intense that a lot of Puerto Rico is still without power, and now they don't even have time to rebuild. Now they're bracing for this next storm. So hey Anya's here as well. It's nice to see some friends joining, and even though I wish I had better news. So oh Tom, yeah, it's not me bringing these hurricanes, trust me. It's Mother Nature, and it's the fact that the water is so warm there. It's like jet fuel. There's very little wind shear. So the latest track, and I'm sorry that it's loud in the studio, so has it as a Cat 5 hurricane right now. Again, it's over Dominica, very small island, and it's starting farther south than Irma did. So instead of going north of Puerto Rico, this looks to be hitting San Juan, hitting Puerto Rico sometime late Wednesday as a Cat 5 hurricane. And the last time the only time Puerto Rico was hit by a Cat 5 was 1928. So this is historic and not in a good way. Then heading through Puerto Rico, the higher terrain will have an impact and will weaken it somewhat, but still a Cat 4 slicing north of the Dominican Republic, and it still has it as a Cat 4 hitting the Turks and Caicos that got hit very hard by Irma. And then the cone does shift it heading east of the Bahamas as we head into the weekend. So there is no such thing as a Cat 6. Irma was a strong Cat 5, and right now Maria, Cat 5 starts at 157 miles per hour. Maria is 160. So it's basically, I don't want to say a weak Category 5, because Category 5 is catastrophic, and I know people talk about Cat 6. That's fake news. There's no Cat 6, because what's higher than catastrophic? So what we're looking at right now is that the impact, we're looking at, first of all, the wind damage, the storm surge, especially when you get the northeast quadrant, will be devastating. That's the most damaging part of the storm, and we're looking at the potential for, I think, easily 8 to 10 inches of rain along the path. And so a lot of these islands are very mountainous, and you get the mudslides. So this is a really serious situation. Now I want to talk briefly. I don't like to go way out because we're talking about a week ahead, but a lot of people are asking about its potential impacts on the U.S. mainland. Well, the Euro, which is typically the model of choice when it comes to tropical systems, does have it recurving out to sea, kind of along the high pressure ridge that's going to be dominating our weather right through the weekend and next week. And we're talking about temperatures in the mid-80s. So if that happens, it heads out to sea. We don't have to worry about it. The GFS, the American model, heads it closer to the southeast coast. What will happen? Too early to tell. Possibly what's left of Jose could kind of do the little capture it like a lasso and throw it out to sea as well. So, but when you're talking about a week in advance, that is speculation. Right now, I really do want to focus on the fact that the islands are going to be getting hit, and they're going to be getting hit hard. And I will talk about Jose, but let me flip this over because a lot of people have Oh, Teresa Ann, I don't think it's going to be hitting Florida, so I wouldn't be postponing any trips to Florida at this point. So Dominica, it's over right now. I really like this interactive map because it does show the island. So this is the cone, this is the center. So St. John's looks like you will be north of it. I mean, it has a big wind field, so they will be feeling the effects. But again, there's that the center of the track, and again there is that window, the cone of uncertainty, but it does have the center of the track right through Puerto Rico. And then as we go up, so north, so then this is another way to show it. So that's Turks and Caicos. So once we get several days out, the cone does spread out. When you're talking about 4 or 5 days, I think 4 days, the margin of error is like 175 miles, and 5 days, I think it's like 220. So, all right. So now let me talk about, I need to, fix my graphics here. I do want to talk about Jose, and I want to actually kind of talk some people off the cliff when it comes to Jose, because, I mean, this compared to Maria, this is a very small storm, and it's a very weak storm, and it is off the coast. So this is the latest on Hurricane Jose. It's 230 miles east of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. Maximum sustained wind 75 miles per hour. It's a Cat 1. It's stationary. It will start making that trip to the north and northeast. So the Jersey Shore, the Delaware beaches, you're going to be feeling this tomorrow. And we're looking at wind gusts about 40 to 45 miles per hour. You'll get some bands of rain, and beach erosion's the main concern. Then it has it moving into cooler waters southeast of Nantucket, becoming a tropical storm, and then it does look like it's going to do a bit of a loop. There's high pressure here, so it can't go out to sea. Do a little bit of a loop and then become stationary over the weekend. And this is when, yep, some models do have it coming back in. If it does, it would be in a much more, it'd be just basically a little bit of a rainstorm. But it could also just kind of meander there and die out. Could have an effect on Maria, possibly helping head it out to sea. But this is all right, this is the future tracker showing the rain tomorrow. So I don't want people to think that in Philadelphia it's going to be raining all day, because we probably won't get much at all. Some light showers along the coast in the morning, intensifying around lunchtime. Probably in the afternoon we get more in the way of showers working west of I-95, but the rain is encountering dry air, drier at least than along the coast. So it really does kind of die out. And then, oh, here are the expected wind gusts. So again, these are gusts. These are not sustained winds. So I think there was a lot of confusion. So along the shore, 40 to 45 mile an hour wind gusts. That's not enough to bring down trees and power lines. It's going to be a very windy day. I-95, 30 to 40. North and west counties, about 20 to 30. So I think there was some confusion because earlier today, there was a tropical storm watch in effect, and what that means is that tropical storm conditions, tropical storm force winds are expected within 48 hours. So once it gets within 24 hours, it either becomes a tropical storm warning, or it becomes a wind advisory, or it just gets canceled. So the National Weather Service canceled the tropical storm watch. And I want to show you why, because if you look at the wind field of Jose, let me flip this over for you guys. Bob, I don't think there will be any issues flying out of Philadelphia tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be windy, but we get bigger wind gusts with a front with thunderstorms. So these are sustained winds with Jose. So the red, that's hurricane force winds, very small wind field, and this storm is weakening, so the hurricane force wind field is not that impressive. Tropical storm force wind field is quite a bit more spread out, but you'll notice that with that storm never getting within 200 miles of the coast, that's the sustained winds, they stay off the coast. So this is why the wind gusts, yeah, 40 to 45, but tropical storm force sustained winds, those are sustained winds more than 39 miles per hour. And that's not going to happen. So the takeaway is that down the shore, it's not going to be a nice day. And you will be looking at waves of rain. And I think you'll have some coastal flooding at times of high tide, probably minor. Tomorrow evening could be moderate. And the big deal with Jose is just the fact that it's really stirring up the waves. So the wave heights could be up to about 10 feet, and that is going to cause a big problem with beach erosion. So I don't want to poo-poo this because inland it's not going to be a big deal, because when you do have a place at the shore, you know, you go to those beautiful beaches, the beach erosion can take its toll. But it's almost equivalent to a weak nor'easter, the way it's so far out to sea, and it's a Category 1 hurricane. So Jill makes me nervous for winter storms here. You know, for the winter, it's the pattern we're in for the winter. The hurricane season does not have an impact on winter storms. So Brett Saunders is here. Brett survived Hurricane Irma at University of Tampa, and actually got to meet Anderson Cooper and got on Fox News from what I hear. And the eye shifted, so they didn't get a direct hit, which is good. So any other questions? Will Long Island be affected? Long Island, kind of the situation like here, that they're going to get some rain and they're going to get some winds, but it's not a situation like Sandy where it makes that left turn and it's staying off the coast. So like I said to Jim, actually I should get out of this, so my producer is going to try to work on some graphics. So like I said to Jim during the 6 o'clock, if you're going to have a hurricane off the coast, something like Jose is probably, you know, a good one to have, because it's weak and it's not that close. So Rachel, where is Hurricane Lee? Lee was never a hurricane. It was a tropical storm, and it's basically dissipated. And a lot of people asking me about K and L. Katia was a hurricane that went into Mexico. So what are the winds going to be like in Williamstown, New Jersey? You'll probably have about 35 to 40 mile an hour gusts. But again, you know, it's not going to be catastrophic. Atlantic City area, Marcy is 40 to 45 mile an hour wind gusts. You will get some rain, but even the rain, it's looking like, I think you'll get less than a half inch of rain. Earlier today, I thought we'd see more like 1 to 2 inches, but now it's probably about a quarter to an inch of rain. So, and as far as, I don't think there will be any freshwater flooding. You can't flood with that much rain, but there will be some coastal flooding. Again, at high tide, best chance of anything more than minor will be tomorrow night. So, any other questions? Oh gosh, Alexis, I'm not talking about the winter yet. I give my winter season outlook in November, and I really like to see the pattern get established in October before I make a stab at what the winter season will be like. So what about Philly tomorrow with Jose? We will have wind gusts about 30 to 40, probably more about 30 to 35 miles per hour at the height of the storm. And that's more in the afternoon. And then we will probably get a few showers and mostly cloudy skies, but it's not a big deal for Philadelphia. And again, our suburbs north and west will actually probably see some sunshine. So, and Nancy, will Maria head this way? I don't think so. I think the Euro has it recurving out to sea. The GFS has it heading towards the southeast coast. We're talking about a week in advance, so a lot can happen, but I don't see a pattern where Maria would be hitting us. So I'll keep posted on that. And I do typically, I follow the Euro a little bit more when it comes to tropical storms. Definitely has a better handle on tropical systems, and that does have it recurving out to sea. But again, if you're talking about anything about more than about 4 days in advance with a tropical system, you got to take it with a huge grain of salt, because things can change. So we're heading to Disney on Wednesday. Any Maria concerns? Maria does not look to be heading towards Florida. So I really think right now it's the Caribbean, it's the Leeward Islands, it's Puerto Rico. Real big concern about Puerto Rico, because that could take a direct hit. And again, the only other time it's been hit by a Cat 5 was back in 1928. So U.S. Virgin Islands, looks like they will be impacted. Looks like it will be staying south of St. John's. So will Jose have an impact on steering Maria? Possibly. There is an effect, Fujiwara effect, I think it's what it's called. It's a Japanese word. Starts with an F, Fujiwara. I think that's right. I may be wrong. But it's basically it's where tropical systems can almost do a little bit of a dance together, and one can kind of lasso and capture another.